if I give the mother word, don't let me give the word and give the receipts. Oh, they on your ass forever.
Looks like Nicki Minaj is going head-to-head with everybody lately. First it was SZA, and now she's locked in a heated feud with Doechii. And it ain't just about attitude. This time, it's personal. Word is, Roc Nation has been grooming and backing Doechii like their secret weapon, allegedly prepping her to knock Nicki right off her throne. That's what Nicki's been saying, at least. But is there any truth behind it? Is she just being paranoid? Or is there a hidden plot? Because make no mistake, Doechii and Roc Nation are thick as thieves, and the drama around them is wild. So, now the big question is, was this whole thing designed to replace Nicki as the queen of hip-hop? And if that wasn't messy enough, Nicki's been spiraling online like never before. She's calling out Jay-Z's entire team, Roc Nation, accusing them of trying to erase her completely. She's not just upset, she's livid. Her fans, the Barbz, are saying they're trying to shut her up, that Roc Nation is pulling strings behind the scenes to silence her voice and hide their support. But here's where it gets even crazier. Nicki ain't just talking about sabotage. She's claiming Jay-Z owes her $200 million. That's right. She says she never got her full share from Tidal, the streaming service she was part of. According to her, this isn't just business beef. It's straight up betrayal. Now you know Nicki doesn't play nice when she's mad. Once she felt like Jay-Z wasn't hearing her, she went straight for the jugular and dragged up some of his deepest personal rumors. She brought up the whispers about Jay-Z's alleged secret child. And yes, she actually said it. Turns out there is a real paternity case that's been buzzing. A man named Rymir Satterthwaite has been pushing for a court-ordered paternity test, and recently, a judge reportedly allowed the case to move forward.
It's different rules now. It's different rules now. You gotta watch what you motherfucking say to me regarding anything.
We love you! Oh my gosh! Since in 2008, when I was in 8th grade and I could listen to rap music on my own.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
The court is now demanding Jay-Z respond. And guess who just poured gasoline on that fire? Nicki. So while Roc Nation's allegedly boosting up Doechii to slide into Nicki's seat, Nicki's out here blasting billion-dollar accusations, screaming about betrayal, and throwing family secrets into the spotlight. This ain't just music industry drama anymore. This is full-on war. And just when Jay-Z thought things couldn't get messier, boom, another bombshell hits. Now he's caught up in a whole other legal storm involving Megan Thee Stallion. Her former cameraman is taking her to court, claiming he had to work in a toxic environment while filming her tour. And this ain't just about long hours or bad vibes. The accusations are wild. According to the lawsuit, the cameraman, who identifies as part of the LGBTQ+ community, claims he was forced to witness some very explicit behavior between Megan and another woman inside a moving car during a tour stop in Ibiza. He says it made him super uncomfortable and that it happened while he was just trying to do his job. Crazy, right? DJ Academic spilled the tea first, reporting that the judge denied Megan and Roc Nation's attempt to dismiss the case. So now it's full steam ahead in court, and Nicki Minaj wasted no time jumping on it. She fired off a bold tweet that looked directly aimed at Jay-Z, calling the whole situation karma for how Roc Nation allegedly did her dirty. She didn't hold back at all. Nicki posted, "Touch not my anointed," and went off talking about divine law and how God's just getting started. She was clearly feeling fired up. But here's the twist. Some folks think Nicki crossed a line, dragging Megan into this, when she might not even be found guilty of anything. Still, Nicki doesn't care. To her, this is all-out war. She feels like the entire industry's been ganging up on her, and she's throwing punches at anyone who even looks like they're on the wrong side. Nicki says she's not just fighting for herself anymore. She's standing up for every artist who's ever been used, outplayed or silenced by big-time execs. And she's not stopping there. She even believes Roc Nation has been trying to mess with her marriage behind the scenes. Yeah, it's that deep. And these so-called conspiracies? They're starting to sound real to some folks, especially when others back them up. Hot 97's Nessa Diab, partner to former NFL star Colin Kaepernick, jumped in to back Nicki's claims. She said Roc Nation did similar shady stuff to Colin too. According to her, Jay-Z helped the NFL clean up their image while totally hijacking Kaepernick's protest movement. And she thinks that same behind-the-scenes power play is what's now being used against Nicki. After the whole blackballing drama over Colin Kaepernick's protest, Nessa Diab didn't hold back either. She claimed she'd been calling out Roc Nation for years, but most folks were too scared to say anything out loud. She said they'd hit her up in private, agreeing with her, but stayed silent in public. Real shady behavior. And just when you thought it couldn't get more twisted, Nessa dropped another bomb. She alleged Roc Nation took $5 million a year for 5 straight years just to help the league move past the backlash around teams refusing to sign Kaepernick. That's a whopping $25 million just to sweep it all under the rug. Stuff like this is why some people are starting to believe Nicki Minaj's claims, even if she's been known to stir up trouble in the past. Some say she's cried wolf one too many times. But when someone like Nessa, who's close to the situation and knows the game, backs her up, now that adds weight. Because where there's smoke, there's usually a fire. And this one's burning hot. But now it gets darker and messier. Nicki didn't stop with Jay-Z and Roc Nation. She dragged Doechii straight into the line of fire. Even though Doechii usually comes off sweet and low-key, Nicki came for her hard, throwing shade all over X with another one of her wild online rants. You gotta understand how Doechii got mixed up in this. Let's rewind for a second. It all seemed to start when Nicki called out Punch, SZA's former manager, accusing him of bullying her in the past. And if you know Nicki, she don't forget nothing. She'll clap back years later if she feels disrespected. And this was one of those moments. Then out of nowhere, SZA jumped in with a cryptic tweet saying, "Mike can be retro gay. Don't take debate. Silly goose." Nicki took that real personal and snapped. It was on from there. She went full attack mode on SZA. Nicki didn't hold back at all. She dragged SZA by the wig, trashing her music, and even said she sounded like she'd been stung by a hornet mid-recording. The shade was brutal, but she didn't stop there. Nicki also clowned SZA's looks, called her ugly, and even mocked her latest release, calling it just a blown-up version of her past Grammy-winning hits. The way Nicki came for her, whew, she was ruthless. It felt like she was trying to tear SZA apart with words alone. And that's the thing with Nicki. Once she starts throwing punches, she don't always know when to chill. That's why even some of her own fans get uncomfortable watching her go full throttle on people who weren't even in the original fight. With Nicki, it's like no female artist is safe. She's always throwing shots, even when nobody's checking for her. Lately, she's been going off with unprovoked attacks, constantly dragging other women in the game and comparing herself to them like she's got something to prove. This time, SZA caught the smoke. And folks are saying Nicki seriously crossed the line. The wildest part, SZA didn't even mention her. But that didn't stop Nicki from going in, body shaming her, and then coming for her career like it was personal. She said, "Wait, SZA thinks she's more successful than me? Catch me up, please. SZA, if every song you've ever done vanished right now, the music biz wouldn't even notice. I've been to countries that never even heard of you." That's cold. But here's the thing. SZA's tweet could have been about anything. It wasn't directed at Nicki by name, yet Nicki went full attack mode anyway. People online were like, why is Nicki always looking for a fight? But let's say, just maybe, SZA was throwing shade. Even then, what did Doechii do? Why did she catch a stray out of nowhere? Nicki didn't stop with SZA. She took it up a notch by ambushing Doechii too, and it felt random, but low-key calculated. She posted a chilling message online. MTM minus 30 million. with a creepy picture of a Chucky doll. That one tweet had people scrambling. If you didn't catch the meaning, here's the tea. That was a jab at reports saying Doechii allegedly lost around 30 million monthly listeners on streaming platforms in the last 3 months. True or not, Nicki used that rumor as a weapon, and the timing was no accident. Everyone was confused. Like, how did Doechii get dragged into this mess? She hadn't said a word. She was keeping it cool and minding her own business. And honestly, that was the smartest move. Because clapping back at someone who's dragging you for no reason, that just means you're stepping into their chaos too. So now let's connect the dots. Roc Nation, the crew Nicki's been beefing with heavy, has close ties to Top Dog Entertainment, the label Doechii is a part of. And that's where things start looking strategic. Was Nicki just lashing out, or was she targeting people linked to Roc Nation on purpose? Roc Nation and Top Dog Entertainment, they're basically like twins in the music game, sharing artists, sharing money, and making major moves behind the scenes. See, Roc Nation mostly handles management, but they depend heavily on labels like TDE, which hold the big record deals. So yeah, it's one tight-knit industry crew, all connected in ways most folks never even see. That's why it's not far-fetched to think Roc Nation saw potential in Doechii and used their strong network, including their buddies over at TDE, to help her rise. It might sound like harmless teamwork on paper, but when you throw Nicki Minaj into the mix, that's exactly where the resentment builds. Especially now, after everything she claims Roc Nation did to her, it's easy to see how Nicki could view Doechii's rise as part of a bigger plan to push her out the picture. But here's the twist. Even after all the drama, SZA and Doechii didn't flinch. They stayed cool. And honestly, that's mostly because Nicki's rep has taken a serious hit lately. The internet exploded over her attacks. Some folks laughed it off, but others weren't having it. People were calling her out left and right, saying she took things too far and was lashing out at people who had nothing to do with her $200 million beef with Jay-Z. One person tweeted, "Nicki too old to be acting like this." Another said, "There's always a common denominator in these female feuds." And someone else? They just straight up said, "She needs a new supplier. Whatever she's on is making her paranoid." And they're not wrong, because Nicki's list of female beefs is longer than her list of hits. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Latto, Remy Ma, Lil Kim, SZA, and now Doechii. At this point, it's not giving queen, it's giving insecure. Every time a young female artist starts leveling up, Nicki seems to feel threatened and throws a jab. And when it doesn't land, she goes low. Fat shaming, career shaming, straight up petty shots. That's become her signature move, and people are noticing. Even Doechii's supporters clap back, saying Nicki's just jealous. One tweet hit hard. Grammy on her arm, record on yours. Whew! And look, beyond all the drama, there's something deeper going on here. Some think this isn't just about industry beef or lost money. It's about Nicki wrestling with something personal, a fear that she's past her prime, that her peak years might be behind her. Because let's be real, she used to drop hit after hit, non-stop. Back in the day, Nicki was unbeatable, dropping fire lyrics, music videos that shook the culture, and chart-topping hits left and right. But lately, that non-stop success seems to have slowed down. And truth is, that's natural. Especially in hip-hop, where the sound is always shifting and new blood is taking over fast. The industry stays hungry for what's next, and that pressure to constantly reinvent yourself, it's real. For someone who's worn the crown for so long, even a slight dip in attention can feel like the end of the world. So maybe that's why Nicki's been lashing out. She's trying to hold on to something that's already changed. She might see these new artists, like Doechii, Latto, and others, not just as competition, but as reminders that her era might be fading. Instead of mentoring, she's out here throwing shade. But the truth? Chasing past glory almost never ends well. You can't rewind the culture, and Nicki knows that deep down. And while some of her struggles come from the game changing, A lot of what she's dealing with now, that's self-inflicted. The constant beefing, the online rants, the messy feuds, they've overshadowed her actual talent. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, he's been ghost from the drama. While Nicki's firing shots all over the internet, Jay made a surprise appearance at Beyoncé's Paris Renaissance show, living it up, vibing with the crowd, singing his lungs out, like nothing's happening at all. Some of the Barbz are saying that was a distraction, a slick move to pull focus off the fire Nicki was setting online. But honestly, at this point, does anybody even care? Because while Nicki's trying to rage bait and fight for attention that fades in a few days, fans are starting to say she needs a whole new outlet, maybe a break, maybe therapy, maybe peace. Anything but this endless drama. 'Cause now, it's not even about legacy, it's about sanity. So Nicki, unplug, reset, regroup, not for your crown, but for your own peace of mind. And y'all, let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more of this juicy drama. Catch you in the next one.